to start from left to right with candidate Wozniak. Recently, the Belmont Redwood Shores School District formed a No Boundaries Committee. This is a brand new policy approved by the school board to eliminate boundaries to try to deal with capacity problems. Though the elected officials, council and clerk, have no jurisdiction over this decision, the boundaries have been for a long time considered to be closely aligned with neighborhood identities, property values, and traffic patterns. So this is a real big change in our community. What advice or suggestions might you offer to this committee as they move forward with their planning process? And you have 40 seconds on complicated questions.
Okay, so I want to say that I did attend a couple of the meetings and was impressed by the community fervor and passion about this issue. I have two boys that grew up in the Belmont schools. I'm in a neighborhood whose school was closed down in the 80s, so my kids had to walk. I think from the city's point of view, they couldn't walk. I'm sorry, they couldn't walk because they had to cross Ralston. From my point of view, one of the things from the city's point of view is I hope that the school district looks at the impact that boundaries will have on the city. We have terrible traffic in our city already. Neighborhood schools are important. They're important for community cohesiveness, but they're also important because they reduce traffic. They were built so that kids could walk to school. Unfortunately, that's kind of gone by the wayside. So that's one thing I would say. Thank you.
This is a tough question to answer in 40 seconds. I went to a lot of these meetings. The net result of no boundaries will actually, I think, be relatively small in that most kids will be able to go to what has been traditionally their neighborhood school. I'm concerned with children having to cross major thoroughfares to get to other schools, so it's a safety issue. Wednesday, I think, was National Walk to School Day, and roughly, I think, by eyeballing it, 75% of the kids seem to walk to school. That's pretty impressive, and you can't do that if you have to cross El Camino Real and other very busy streets. So as long as safety is taken into consideration, I don't think it'll be a major concern.
So I also went to a lot of the meetings, and I won't belabor the point. It's safety, it's walking, it's commuting across major thoroughfares.
I did not attend any of those meetings. I was unaware of the direction that they were going with these issues. At some point, we have to look at Belmont Redwood Shores as not necessarily truly being inside of inside of Belmont, because property tax revenues from those parents actually goes to another city and not to Belmont. So the problems that we are being asked to help alleviate here may not be something that we can financially handle, but the children's safety must come first.
Thank you. Now, if any of you, we've allotted 20 seconds for some follow-up. If you feel like you want to add something to your original answer, if anyone, that's throughout the question. Okay. So if there's no further comments, we'll go on to question number 2, and we'll start with candidate Brown-Lee. Okay. As you know, we're experiencing an upsurge in educational facilities with a new private middle school proposed on Davis Drive by the prestigious Crystal Springs Upland School and the new UCal Berkeley extension of Shoreline, as well as the new preschool center in Barrett. This is either a great opportunity or a challenge. Question is, should Belmont evolve into something called the education city? Would you be in favor of converting all of the remaining buildings on Davis Drive into education-oriented facilities, thus creating a destination-oriented sort of education hub? Could we have vocational schools that don't require athletic fields? In lieu of that, we help train students to get employment in cosmetology, welding, auto mechanics, the various those skills. So what are your thoughts on Do we change the city into an education city or just carry on?
Well, actually, up there on Davis Drive, there are several buildings that are currently empty and do need occupancy. But the real problem here is, do we want to monopolize that area of our community into a school facility? Students attending Ralston Middle School up there have a difficult enough time negotiating the traffic that is on Ralston Boulevard at that point. And I think that unless we coordinate the signals better or find a way to put an overpass in or something like that, we have to look at this as not possibly being the direction we want to take our community in. To make all those buildings reliant upon a section of our economy that is cyclical in nature.
As I've said before in other discussions with other people, I think we already are an educational community. I've never seen the number of the levels of education in a city as small as we are per capita. I've never seen that. That said, I would not support moving toward the position that you were talking about in terms of adding a lot of vocational and everything. I think we have plenty of schools, and I think that we need to diversify our businesses that come to Belmont. And if property tax, if sales tax is a priority, we need to focus on that.
So, Davis Drive, no. Davis Drive needs to be reserved for industrial uses or business uses. Yes, to UC Berkeley on Shoreway, it can handle the traffic without any problem at all. Preschools are interesting because in San Mateo County, according to a First Five report, only 32% of the need for preschool slots is actually met. So that's one that we should think very carefully about, and I think preschool at Garrett is probably an appropriate use of that site.
So I think, again, I agree that we're already an education city. We have more schools probably per capita than any city on the peninsula. Education's great. I believe in it. I've done it all my life. I've done it after I got out of college, and I believe in it wholeheartedly for everybody. And I believe everybody should have a lot of opportunities. However, there are impacts from education, and we don't get pure revenue from them, unfortunately. So we have to look at the ups and downs of education. Also, what we have to look at is the impacts that a large school has on our community. If the Upland School does come, I'm going to be very watchful and make sure that they've actually thought about this, that they do due diligence about the traffic impacts on our community, and that we make a good deal with them that's beneficial to our community all in all. Thank you.